Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about product testing. So, what is product testing? Product testing is a systematic process of evaluating a product. It could be a physical product, it could be a software, it could be a service, and can be used to determine if it is meeting a specific requirement. So there could be a business analyst, there could be a product owner or product manager. They're coming to you and trying to give you a requirement. It's important to test whether this particular product meets the specification, whether is functioning the way it's supposed to function, right? So the testing could be done by a testing team, or it could also be done by testing by a product owner, business analyst, or even a product manager. Only when these testing gates are crossed, that's when the product moves to the production, right? It involves a lot of specific actions. So you want to test whether it is working based on the definition of done. Is it based on the acceptance criteria, all the necessary cases that have been mentioned in the user story or in the use case are they getting met or not? So let's take an example. So let's say that there is an e-commerce website, and for that particular e-commerce website, testing will involve verifying that the users can search for products, they can add items to the cart, enter shipping information, apply a discount code, make a payment, and receive an order confirmation. So all of these are few examples with respect to saying you want to test all these features to figure out whether this product is working or not. Here is a good example of what goes wrong when the testing is not done properly. So according to the estimates, when Google lost almost $545 million in only 5 minutes of the downtime. That's how important it is to ensure that your product is up and running all the time. And then a recent Amazon Web Services outage caused companies to lose almost 1,100 dollars per second. Right. So we ask the question, why is protesting so important for us? So it's important so that we're able to ensure the teams are able to gain valuable insights about the customer's needs and preferences. We want to ensure that the development is heading in the right direction. We're able to improve the product, right? So based on the feedback that we're actually getting, we're able to improve the product significantly. We're able to ensure that we're able to meet the customer's expectation. We are following the requirement as it is supposed to be. We save a whole lot of time. So if we're able to figure out a defect, a bug, much before it has gone to the production, we save a whole lot of time for the development, a whole lot of time for the sales or the marketing team, right? So, and also in the process we are actually reducing the risk. I remember during my early career there was this one scenario where there was a small mistake that was done functional wise, and we ended up losing almost $85,000 in printing cost, and along with that other associated cost for school products. So that's how important it is to ensure that the product testing happens all the time. It happens as often as possible, so that we're able to ensure that the consumer's needs are met, and the functionalities are built the way it's supposed to be built. We're also achieving the business goals. So teams are using the product testing to ensure that you're achieving the priorities of the product. We're able to achieve the key business goals. We are able to ensure that the customers are happy. There shouldn't be a situation where during the journey one of the links are broken, and when that happens, it will have a ripple effect on the rest of all the sequence of work that is actually going to be happening, right? So if you see here, it's basically an example of types of software testing. There is manual testing and automation testing, white box testing, black box testing, gray box testing. So automation, when we talk about automation, we are trying to ensure that um, there are scripts which are actually written, and all monotonous work can be automated, and we don't have to keep manually testing it all the time. And manual testing, it could be as simple as a functional testing that is actually happening. There is a bit of monotonity which actually happens over here. So type of manual testings are like functional and non-functional testing. As part of the functional testing, we're doing unit testing, which is mostly done by the dev team. Then you have the integration testing and system testing. And while you have integration testing, it's then further broken down into incremental testing and non-incremental testing. So the approach could be a top-down or a bottom-up approach, right? And non-functional testing has nothing to do with the functional part. It's just the non-functional, like the technical one, like the performance, usability, compatibility, can also be like security. So in case where when you're doing a performance testing, you want to test from a load standpoint. You want to check on the stress. Can it handle abrupt change in the load? Scalability testing, is the functionality scalable or not? If we are on the cloud, are we able to handle abrupt increase in jump of users happening on the system, and are we in a position to handle such kind of demand? Usability testing, we look from a standpoint of from a standpoint of ease of use, how easy it is for the customers to use our product or not. And then compatibility, how compatible it is on different systems or not. All right. So move to the next one. You see basically how this is broken down into unit test, component test, integration test, system test, and then exploratory. The reason we have actually kept it in this fashion is because as soon as we are able to cover the unit test, and if you're able to capture the problem right at this stage, the cost of savings is actually very very high. We save a whole lot of money by ensuring that we're able to determine any kind of defect at this stage. All right. So product testing research stages. So there's something like before consumption, preparation, and after consumption. So there are initial sort of reactions of the consumers on your product, uh, product packaging, and your product that we look at. And then there is a preparation where consumers start consuming or using your product after the testing has happened. So and now they're actually using your product. So they see your product, and based on that they may actually give you feedback, and after they have consumed they will share feedback, and we can use that feedback for improving the product. Okay. uh, Concept testing is one of the concepts of from a startup standpoint, where you actually have an idea. We do idea screening to figure out if that idea is really a good idea or not, and then we go to concept development and testing. We'll try to build the product, as a concept standpoint. We've done your discovery, and you're trying to basically define the assumptions around it. Next, market strategy and business analysis. We are trying to understand all the aspects of the market. So we do market analysis, competition analysis, try to learn more about the market landscape, and then we try to do user research to learn the user issues, challenges, pain points. And once you learn that, and we what we basically do is we try to define the major pain points, share it with the stakeholders, and basis that we are building the product development. So while you're doing the product development at this point of time, we start focusing on the solution that we have learned from our research. So the solution is defined, and using that solution, we take it to the market to figure out, to learn if that particular solution is of some value to the customers or not. And when did we realize that, okay, we seem to be having some kind of a product market fit, and at that point of time we start looking for market entry and commercialization. So this is actually the stage where we are actually trying to enter the market. You may have entered the market, but in a very casual manner, but now you are actually trying to enter the market. And in order to enter the market, there are a whole lot of checklists that you need to be building to ensure that you're not making any costly mistakes at this stage. Steps to usability testing. So you plan the test, recruit the participants, prepare the material, set up the environment, conduct the test, analyze the data, and report the results. Right, but something which is pretty straightforward. Usability testing, as it sounds, it is more to do with the usability of the product. It has to do with the product is seen. It is to do with ensuring that the product, when used by the customer, is it something which is useful for them or not, trying to ensure that the user experience is top notch. If there is anything unnecessarily added as part of the experience that you see during this journey, then there is a strong advice to get rid of them. Right. Then you have the functional testing. As part of the functional testing, we have these are the different types of testing, like unit testing, component testing, smoke testing, integration testing, regression testing, sanity testing, system testing, user acceptance testing. So unit testing is something which is very very basic when you're writing your unit test cases, and for that you will also be, so you write your test code, and after writing the test code, you also want to automatically test whether these unit test cases are passing or not. Next is the component testing. So there could be something like a module with features. So you'd want to test whether individually if this component is behaving as it is supposed to behave, or it is from a functionality standpoint, it is the input and output is based on the expectation. Next, we have the smoke testing, where you are randomly testing the product and trying to see what is the kind of response that you're actually getting. Integration testing is where you have multiple components involved. There is this instance where multiple teams might actually be working on multiple products, and it's really important for us to ensure that we are building the right product. So component A, component B, component C, component D, now they are connected together. Are they sequenced correctly? Let's say in second case they are sequenced, but due to wrong integration, let's say the last leg of the whole process doesn't receive the data, and in the process the entire integration testing fails. Then you have a regression testing, whenever you have incrementally making changes to the product for every iteration for every sprint. At that point of time, we do a regression testing to ensure that any increments that are getting added is not impacting the existing code base. Then we do a sanity testing, system testing, user acceptance testing. Last one, user acceptance testing, is relevant, where we are actually, let's say you're part of a scrum, and as part of the scrum, it's important for a product owner or the product manager to ensure that you do a UAT before handing it off or pushing it to the production. Right. So these are some of the things which I've already seen. We can see what are the stages at which the development is happening, and then the testing, and then who does the acceptance, which is, you can see, it's a product owner. So here we have visitors. Visitors are doing A/B testing, and that one screen for which A/B testing is happening, it could look like option A or could look like option B. And intent here is to learn what is the kind of response, right? What is more workable. So let's take an example. There is an add to cart button for which you are trying to um, make changes to. Maybe is it the color, or it could be with respect to the wording, it could be with the position of the button, so all of that. So it's really important for us to learn which, when we are moving it around, is it helpful by, let's say, moving from position which is on the left extreme right to the center. So when we do that, is there any kind of a change that we're able to notice with the usage? Is the revenue increasing or something getting impacted? If it is not, then it is the A/B testing has actually failed, and you may want to revert altogether. So you have alpha testing and beta testing. As part of the alpha testing, we are basically validating the product quality and design. And beta testing, we want to check for customer satisfaction and the usage. Alpha testing happens internally, beta testing happens externally, right? And when does it happen? So when the product is roughly 60 to 80% complete at that point of time, it's relevant for the technical users, but not for feature complete. So they may be feature ready, but they may not be functionally ready. And who are the stakeholders, like the engineering team, quality assurance, product management team? And when is the feedback implemented? So developers can immediately address the critical issues or the minor issues. So there is a product team that is they will continuously keep prioritizing based on what kind of user stories that is being given to them, what are the bugs that are being given to them, and once based on those prioritization, the work is taken up. Right. So next is the acceptance testing. As you can see, you have user stories, which are part of the requirements. Then you have the design, you have the coding. So looking at these user stories, requirements are created, and using these requirements there is design, and then based on this design there is coding, which is actually happening continuously. In relation to this, for the UAT, then you have system testing, integration testing, and unit testing. So what are the stages of the UAT? So you analyze the product requirements and define the key deliverable, choose the time and form the, depending upon the methodology, recruit users and form the UAT team, and then implement end user testing tools and onboard the tester, create testing and testing environment and conduct the training. Next, run the tests. Next, collect analyze the output information, and if there are bugs that are being reported, then fix the bug, retest, and sign off. So these are different types of testing: black box, gray box, and the white box. So black box is as simple as, if you imagine that there is a black box, we really don't know how it functions. So as part of the black box testing, you care less about how does it operate on its own, or how it is. You don't want to know how internally it works. All you care about is the end result is working the way it's supposed to work. Gray box is a combination of black box and white box, and then you have the white box. So white box is like a general testing which is actually happening, penetration testing also we could actually consider. Okay. Then you have the performance testing. So as part of the performance testing, you basically want to reduce the downtime, and you want to ensure that the maintenance cost is also lower. You want to ensure that the user satisfaction is right. And then identify performance bottlenecks, improve application performance, and meet the performance requirements. So all of this is part of the performance testing. So coming back to this, we have load testing, we have endurance testing, spike testing, stress testing, scalability testing, volume testing. Right? So as part of the performance testing, we have load testing, where we are trying to learn. Let's say we were just working with one server, one host, and we're trying to figure out if that load is good enough, or do we need to add additional loads. So we if there is a need, we add additional loads, and then we try to learn if this is meeting the requirement or not. Is the load time, or if all the other aspects are handled well. Then you have the spike testing. It's this is We do this testing to basically rapid increase in user load related performance analysis. So let's say that you have a sudden surge in the number of users who are actually part of the system now. So how do we ensure that when such scenarios do come up, we are able to handle this with the existing system? Next, stress testing, assessing the performance at the break point. Next is scalability. So testing after the scale up or scale down of an application is when you do your scalability test. Then volume based testing, volume related like slow queries and process time, etc. Next, we'll talk about the security testing. So we have security testing along with the SDLC. So you have the requirement, and for this requirement, we are doing a security analysis. Next, we focus on the security plan, security test plan. Third, it's important for us to now ensure that the coding is happening, CUT, coding and unit testing. And while you're doing that, you want to ensure that the security is handled at this stage. You want to ensure that white box testing is happening. Next is the integration testing. So when you realize that component testing is done, that's when we start looking at integration testing, when we want to work with multiple number of components. Then we have the system testing. So we have like the black box, and we test for the vulnerabilities, scalability, not maybe scalability, yeah. Then 6, implementation system testing. So we check for the penetration testing and vulnerability scanning. Next is the maintenance. So there are different types of security testing, like vulnerability scan, security scanning, penetration testing, risk assessment, and then security auditing. All right. Okay, hope this was helpful. Thank you so much.